So what happens when you take a bear and a warrior and take them both to the bear stable? Well, you can train a warrior riding a bear rider, if you will. So in this episode, I'll be talking about this brand new unit crafting mechanic and chronicling the journey since my last devlog. Stay tuned.
Real niggas do real things. On the road to riches and diamond rings. Real niggas do real things. Hanging with the bitches is the song I sing. Real niggas do real things. And the saga continues.
So I'm going to try to keep this devlog more short and sweet. Attempt to not ramble as much as I usually do. So first things first, I'm just going to show off some improvements that I made to the editor. You can see I've skinned the UI. I made it look a lot more professional, lost that, gray and black developer look. There's a lot of general usability enhancements, like for example, when I load a map, I have this file browser, so I can actually, choose the file from the file system, and I don't have to type, the file path manually, like it's 1978 or something like that. So going to the Objects tab, I now can edit these per object properties. For example, say I want one of the bear riders to, be huge. I can just, bump its size here, and voila, I have one bear rider that's a lot bigger than others. I now have this new tag system, and what this allows me to do is to basically add an arbitrary set of string tags to any unit and export these tags along with the scene data. As well, I can add these tags programmatically at runtime. And for example, I can add this huge units tag to this bear rider, and later during the gameplay, when the scene is loaded and the gameplay script is being run, I can make a query like get all units matching the huge units tag, and I can double the size of these huge units once again, or do absolutely anything. This tag system is basically just a pretty universal kind of tool to make it a little easier to program the gameplay and not have to do as much hard coding. Like for example, when I was scripting the demo mission and I had one hero, and like in the editor it was just like a regular unit. I didn't make a custom model for it. But when I loaded the script, I wanted to get this, one unit from the huge list of entities that I loaded with the scene. And the way I ended up doing that is by adding a custom faction ID to the hero unit. Basically making a brand new faction just for that one unit. And that's a pretty clunky way to go about it. Like this tag system is basically just a cleaner way to achieve that among having many more use cases. Like for example, say I have a unit cast a spell on other units. All units that are affected by the spell can get a tag applied to them temporarily. And then say I want all the units that are affected by the spell to just suddenly die. I can quickly, with 2 lines of Python, get all units matching this tag, kill off these units. Voila, done. Okay, next up, this new region system. So this region system basically allows me to create and place arbitrary regions all across the map. So right now I have 2 kinds of regions, square and circle regions, and that's all I really need, I think. And again, similar to the tags, these regions just allow me to get handles to map locations, to map regions, by string name, without having to hard code as much stuff, without having to hard code coordinates. And furthermore, the region system allows me to make queries. Like say I want to get all regions, all units inside of test region. I can make a query and I get back a list of all the units that are inside. So in this case, it would be these 3 bears if the region was there. Furthermore, I can get notifications and events when units either enter or leave this region, and I can use that for, you know, triggering some arbitrary code or some chain of events. So units enter a village, then they can capture that village, or units enter, you know, whatever, some cave and they get ambushed. Like I spawn units around them and tell those units to attack, right? When I'm scripting, say, a cutscene, I can place, like, you know, a bunch of, you know, smaller regions and just, you know, script a unit. Go to from region A to region B, you know, stop there for 2 seconds, you know, say your line, and go to region C. So I don't have to, once again, you know, get these coordinates and hard code them. I can, you know, visually place these locations using the editor. So that's pretty much it for the editor enhancements. Other than that, I've you know, made a bunch more new models. Like, for example, this is the town center model. This here is a windmill model, which can store, you know, food and have some upgrades for kind of food related units, or what's called, you know, food gathering related upgrades. This here, as you saw at the very beginning, is a bear stable. So this allows me to, you know, craft these bear rider units that, well, I'll talk about this mechanic now in the second part of the video. So in EVERGLORY, I've done something a little bit different with, you know, the unit training mechanic. So the peasant unit that you see here, this is the only unit that's the so-called primitive unit, meaning that this unit can be, you know, directly created at some building like the town center. Every other unit, such as the warrior unit, the bear rider unit, and so forth, is basically created in some way by upgrading the peasant unit, or units that have already been upgraded from the peasant unit. Like the warrior unit that is made at the barracks actually requires a single peasant unit to be sacrificed, you know, so to speak, in order to create the warrior unit. So the way it works is, you know, you take the peasant unit, you bring it to this region in front of the barracks, then you pay some resource cost, in this case 20 gold and 20 iron, and then you upgrade the peasant unit into the warrior unit. And if you guys watched my last devlog, then you guys would know that I have this local resource storage mechanic. So in order to upgrade the peasants into the warrior units at this particular barracks, I first need to get 20 gold and 20 iron to this particular barracks. So say, you know, I mine the iron here, I mine the gold here. I would then need to, for example, using the transport carts or the peasants, to ferry the resources from here to here to this barracks, so I can perform the upgrades here. You know, alternatively, I could have just, you know, built my barracks right here and then, you know, cut out this middleman storage site directly and brought cut out this middleman storage site and brought the iron and the gold to the barracks directly. But, you know, since it's here, I'll have to bring the resources. For the sake of, you know, keeping this video shorter and sweeter, I'm going to use a cheat code to you know, max out the resources at this barracks. And by the way, I made a basic cheat system now. So once I have the resources, boom, I've upgraded the peasants into the warriors. And I think that this crafting mechanic, as I like to call it, the unit crafting mechanic, I think it synergizes well with this resource transporting mechanic, because it basically creates this, like I mentioned before, this puzzle where you have to, you know, build an efficient unit creation pipeline, right? So say your barracks are here, your resources are here, right? Then you need a caravan between the resources and the barracks, right? But there's, you know, a lot more aspects to it, right? The barracks need wood to build. So say I build them, you know, initially I build them here, then they're further from the wood, right? Then I need to bring the wood from, you know, before I'm able to build them. So it kind of, you know, it adds a really, like, deep, you know, base planning element, in my opinion, right? other than that, I'm going to show off something else. So here, there's another little mechanic that's brand new. I capture these bears, you know, just like you would capture sheep in Age of Empires. These bears are basically, you know, they're neutral units that in a mission would be kind of scattered and hidden across the different corners of the map. And when my units come in range of them, the bears are captured and they become my units that I can then use for creation of the bear riders. And similarly to the bears, let's see if we can find some more units. So here we found some mules, which are also another kind of wild unit that can be used in creating more powerful units. So here we've got 3 mules and 3 peasants, and we can use that to create 3 transport carts at our transport center, at our town center. And you know, the transport cart, it's a faster unit with more capacity, right? It's what basically allows you to move resources around a lot more efficiently. But the catch is that in order to build this unit, you have to find these mules, and these mules might not be, you know, easy to find. And even when you do find them, you know, you have to transport them back, escort them back to your base. So it basically, you know, makes these mules and these bears into like an objective, right? Into an implicit extra resource that, you know, cannot be harvested directly, but rather has to be, you know, discovered and, you know, extracted all across, all around the map. And once we have the bears and we have the warriors, then we can combine them into bear riders. And here we see again that, you know, I can only build the warriors at the barracks, and the barracks are here. And the bear stable, which is where we can build the bear riders, they're all the way over here. So we see here that this base layout is not really efficient, right? Say we want to, you know, quickly build a lot of different bear riders. You know, we're forced to, you know, move units all the way here, right? Wouldn't it be a lot better if the barracks was just here and here, so we can, you know, right, build some peasants and then some warriors, quickly get them here, and then quickly have the bear riders up and running. So overall, I'm pretty excited about this mechanic, right? I really I like this idea of the powerful units having to be kind of made, upgraded from these, you know, lesser units. And here we see it kind of in a limited scope, right? So I have the warrior, I have the bear rider, but like later in the game, you know, you want to upgrade this bear rider to a unit that's even more elite. So that adds extra, you know, crafting steps, right? Instead of a 2-step process, peasant to warrior to bear rider, you have peasant to warrior to bear rider to the next unit, which, you know, would make that unit very powerful, but also, you know, very, very difficult to build, right? And having, you know, requiring this well-oiled machine to be able to build many of them, right? So I'm interested to see how this mechanic plays out. This whole unit kind of factory idea that I'm exploring. Do let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the mechanic.
Got to bang a nigga and bang a nigga good, so I can cop a Benz and drive the fuck out the hood. Cause baby mama screaming, your daughter 12 months. Can't live life slinging rocks and smoking blunts. Hanging with the niggas don't pay the bills, and being broke at 30 give a nigga the chills.